Good morning and happy Saturday. So this week was way better. we, it was a good week. I got some things figured out, and I'm feeling so much better than I was last Saturday. So that's lovely. This week we talked about different ways to try to get unstuck and the things that don't necessarily work if you are in a place where you're stuck. And we talked about the fact that I moved back into my bullet journal. So I am back in my bullet journal. However, because there's always a however, but hemming and hawing because, we're planners and things don't always work exactly how you want them to work. So this channel is a huge part of my life, right? Not just of my career, but of my life. I have to remember to film things. I have to, you know, come up with ideas and I have to brainstorm and the things that I am not comfortable doing in my bullet journal because I don't just want this to be a giant mess. I want it to be something not like Instagram perfect or anything, but I want it to look somewhat nice and not as chaotic as the rest of my life. So last night, Thursday night, in the Discord, I had an entire conversation with myself because I was asking everyone in the channel to talk me out of buying a new planner because there's not enough room in an A5 for all the things that I need to do for YouTube. And I thought, okay, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll buy a separate planner for my YouTube stuff. And, if you've been with me for any length of time, you know that I'm not a huge fan of multiple planners. I find my writing notebook to be different from my planner, so I don't count those as different planners. But I feel like having things in two different places can get confusing. However, I really think I need to separate out my YouTube stuff. I really, really do. It's just, this is not functional for the things I need to do for YouTube. This is great for life stuff and to-do lists and tracking bills and habits and things like that. Bullet journal, fantastic. That's why I moved back into it, because I wasn't using this thing in the way I thought I would. Okay, great. So Thursday night, I'm on the Amazon, right? And I'm scrolling through planners because I want something bigger than an A5. And even this 7x9 kind of wasn't as big as I wanted it, but I thought, well, at least that I can make it work. And mostly my thing is the monthly calendar. I need so much more room in a monthly calendar, and it's just too small in these notebooks. But I thought, okay, well, I can get like an Erin Condren 7x9, 7x10, I don't know, on clearance because it's the 2025 through June of 2026. So it's not that big of an investment. I can see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'm only out whatever, $25. So I'm having this talk through on Discord. And then I start thinking about the fact that I already have this, and I can just glue I have the calendars even glued in. And I'm like, so that's dumb. Don't spend the money. Just try to find a bigger monthly calendar, or a bigger monthly like printable calendar. So like, right, I'm talking myself out of it the way I was talking myself into it. And then I turn around and I look at all this shit that's sitting here, and I see an 8.5x11 Erin Condren notebook sitting there that, I've used quite a bit of it. There's not a ton of paper left in here, but there's enough to get me through the end of the year. So then I went to our favorite neighborhood planner person. I own many, many, many iterations of the HB90 planner by Heart Breathings, Sarah Cannon. So I pulled up the undated letter size, printed out a monthly, and glued it in here. So now I have all the room in the world for my YouTube planner, and so I'm in multiple planners. And I would imagine I'm going to make an actual whole video about what I'm doing and what my mindset is around it. But at the moment, I'm really glad that I did this because I need the room. I need the chicken scratch, brainstorm, brain dumps pages that I don't want to clutter up my bullet journal with. So that's what I did Thursday night. I was working through like my content plan for November, and I'm working on, I started like a shorts series where in the morning I give you like a silly little reminder, and at night I give you either a quote from someone smarter than me or a ridiculous thing that I came up with off the top of my head. So those have been really fun, and they're starting to connect, so that's lovely. So I'm starting to come up with a cohesive plan for us for Rebel with a Plan. And that has taken a lot of the weight from my shoulders that I was feeling last week, where I didn't even know what to do next. And part of it was just to stop the overthinking, because nothing I decide is locked in stone. If I make a video that flops, I just can move on to the next one. It's fine. Like, I get so in the weeds when I'm trying to plan, because like I had said in previous videos, I want big things. And I get it in my head that if I screw up the next step, I'm never going to get there. And that's a me thing. That's something I need to work through. But yeah, I'm feeling way better about things this week. Like it was a good week. I got my house clean. Honestly, we had a really good week in the Discord. And I know that I talk about it a lot, but it has been incredibly helpful for me and for the other people who have chosen the other people who have chosen to join. And if you want to come hang out with us, if you want to build community with us, as always, it's linked down below. It's $2 to join the membership to the Rebel Squad, and you get access to the Discord. It's a one-time charge. You only ever have to pay the $1.99, and then you have access for life, unless you turn into like a giant asshole and I have to ban you. But I can't imagine that happening. So if you want to come hang out with us, we would love to have you. Moving on. I got an idea for a book. It's just like a wisp of an idea, but it made me feel really good. It made me think, again, like I get so in my head about decisions and what comes next. And this idea has nothing to do with the series I'm working on. And that's okay. A lot of authors, will have an ongoing series, but you need to give your brain a break, right? You need playtime. So maybe it would be really good for me to step away from the rock stars for a minute and write like a shorter, cute, lovely romance about something else. So that's, it hasn't coalesced yet, but the idea is there, and I'm trying not to scare it away. Yesterday, I was cleaning the bathroom. Finally, I have put that, oh my God. My bathroom doesn't get super disgusting, but sometimes my shower does, and I was out of shower cleaner, so it went a little longer than I prefer, so that was not my favorite thing to do. But I had my playlist going, and Celine Dion's It's All Coming Back to Me Now came on, and there were nights when the wind was so cold, and I'm belting it out while I'm scrubbing the shower, and I'm like, this is exactly how I feel about my writing. Like, the word, like, it could have been me singing to my muse, and it's so funny. And if you are an author, and especially if you are an author who struggles, I highly recommend you go listen to that song and see if it doesn't perfectly describe your relationship with your writing. It was hilarious. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So, as you can see, I'm just the power of music and cleaning my space and allowing my brain to think outside of the stupid steel trap box that I keep trying to force myself into has just changed everything in the span of a week. Like, again, and I know I already mentioned this in the other video, but like resetting that board and putting just pictures of rock stars and just things that make me happy to look at it has just eliminated so much stress that I feel the minute I walk into my office. Because before that, every time I walked in, it was just a giant to-do list of things that I couldn't get to done. And now it's just oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Look at all of these things that make me happy and bring me joy. And yeah, there's some things I need to get done and they're interspersed in there, but they're no longer the focal point because the focal point is no longer get the check marks. The focal point is have fun, find joy, embrace the chaos. That is all I ever wanted for this channel to be. And it's like I got so stuck in my head that I lost the plot. And I'm finding my way back to it. And it feels good. It feels good. So, yeah, things are looking up. I have another planner that I think is going to work really well for my YouTube stuff. One of the things that I have been thinking about as we move forward is whether or not I want to do Vlogmas this year. I don't think I've ever tried to do it. And if you're not familiar, Vlogmas is where you post every single day in December. And I don't know for sure if I'm going to have the energy and, whatever to do that. But it's one of the things I'm considering because I think it could be really fun. Like, I think, because it's Vlogmas, right? So it's not like my sit down and learn something with me. It's certainly not boo-hoo, woe is me. They're just shorter, less edited. It would be like this every single day, but like holiday themed. And there would still be my regular type engagement videos, in there as well. But then in between, it would just be fun. Watch me decorate my tree. Let's bake some cookies. Let's do this. Let's do that. Just fun hang out with me every single day in December things. And like I said, I don't know for sure that I'm going to do it. It's a thing I'm considering. It's a thing that's written down in here to be determined. But I would love to know your thoughts. Is Vlogmas something you think you would have fun doing with me? Would you want to see me 31 times in December? I don't know. That's a lot of Dakota. In other household news, I know you guys like to know, the things that we bake every week. This week was a doozy. We were in quite the baking mode, and I think it's because the weather has finally cooled off. It hasn't been in the 80s anymore, so I want to have my oven on. And we do home ec class with Trent for homeschool, so we made apple cider donuts, pumpkin cinnamon rolls, no-bake cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and yesterday he made his first focaccia, and it was rosemary and garlic, and he did amazing. It's so good. He did a really great job. So he's turning into quite the baker. He really is, and I love that for him. I don't so much love it for me because I have been eating way too much, but it's delicious, and I don't know how to resist it when it's all just sitting there on my counter. And you don't want it to go to waste, right? I don't know. I gotta rein that in. Him and Hawk and I need to take some longer walks is what we need to do. Because, oh my goodness, the amount of pastry in this house is insane and delicious. So really, that is all that is going on with me this week. I am less muddled. I am content for the moment with the planner system of my bullet journal for everyday life and a separate, bigger planner for my YouTube, just so I have room and freedom to do what I need to do with this channel. Because I've moved away from hard scripting, clearly, but I do still need to have at least bullet points of the things that I want to talk about in the themed videos, because I don't want to forget to say anything, and I don't, so I need room for notes, and I need room for my titles to fit in the monthly boxes, because sometimes, I want a little bit of a descriptor in there so I know what I meant when I said things like, let's look at one. Let's look at something I got planned for November. So, the ADHD productivity paradox. Why we only function in a crisis but panic when we can't pick out a pair of socks. Obviously, that's not going to be the full title because that's very long. That might be more characters than YouTube allows for a title. But I needed just like a reference of what I meant by the ADHD productivity paradox, because if I just had that in there, when I go back to it, I'm going to be like, what the hell did I mean? So I'm glad that I have things on hand. I didn't buy anything. I did buy something. So I use these Scalogy dot stickers in my planners. They're just they're like washi tape dots, and I use the red ones for marking my YouTube videos, and that's all I have left of the red is that one sheet, that one partially used sheet. So while I was out there looking at planners, I threw those in my cart, and I did buy those. What's hilarious, so this is crazy, because I thought to myself, why don't you just use a marker to make a dot? Perfectly valid. I like the aesthetic of the washi stickers, but I can get by with a dot from a marker. I am not even kidding. There's not a single red marker in my house. Like, we have Crayola Super Tips. I have like Stutler dual-ended markers. I have mild liners. I have markers in every pocket of every room in this house. Not a single red marker. Where did they go? I can't. They're sets, and every set has a red. Red is pretty common. So not a single red marker in this house. So that was how I justified the sticker purchase. Could I have bought a set of markers? Absolutely. Will I buy a set of markers? Absolutely. I buy markers. Well, I haven't this year, but I got no problem buying markers, and I will absolutely buy markers. But I also like to have these stickers. They make me happy, so I bought them, and that's fine. It was my consolation prize for not buying a new planner. I've done so well this year. I really have. I have not bought a single roll of washi tape this year. Not one. It is October 18th, and I haven't bought a single roll of washi. That is something that 2 years ago me would have thought was impossible. It helps that no one really sells washi tape in store anymore, so I can't impulse purchase it. All the ones at Michael's, I already own them all. I own them all. It's disgusting. You've seen my washi drawers. But I haven't bought any washi tape. I haven't bought any planners. I bought a couple notebooks, but I didn't buy any planners this year, which again, good on me, because especially with the way I've struggled back and forth between notebook and planner, and maybe something else will work. Like, it's a pretty huge deal that I didn't buy a planner this year. And I'm very hopeful that I won't buy one next year either. I'm hoping that this dual system will work and I can just stay here. And then, because a notebook is a hell of a lot cheaper than a full-on planner. And so I'm hopeful that we're not buying planners. I don't think I've bought any pens this year either. Again, insane. That's awesome. I think I bought refills. I did. I bought a set of refills trying to find something to fit in these pens. And so, okay, it's a ramble, right? So I have a bunch of Simply Gilded, like, hard, nice, weighted pens, okay? And I found that, I want to say the Energel refills fit in this pen. So I had taken one out of an Energel pen I already had, but I couldn't get them to fit in the rest of the Simply Gilded pens. And I was so like, what is, why won't they fit? This one fits. And then I was looking at this pen and I'm like, oh, because this isn't a Simply Gilded pen. So like the struggle I struggled trying to figure out how to make those refills fit in those Simply Gilded pens. Let me see if I have one. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have one handy. But, I mean, just struggled and struggled and struggled. And I'm like, why don't they fit? Because it's not the same pen. These are This is a Carpe Diem pen. And it's the only Carpe Diem pen that I have. And I love it. I love the weight of it. And I love that the needle point fits in here. And Carpe Diem, I think, went out of business. So now I'm not sure. I guess this is the only pen I get. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look around and I'll find one on eBay or something and I'll ask for it for Christmas. Who knows? I don't know. How expensive? It's a banana, Michael. How much can it cost? $10? So we'll have to see. We'll see on that. But yeah. So all those times I told you that this was a Simply Gilded pen, it is not. This is a Carpe Diem pen that's very heavy. So I mean, it says it. Like I just don't read. I just don't read. So that was my bad and my fault. But you know, I have refills out the wazoo now, and they will only fit in this pen. So I have like it was like a 5-pack. But I don't remember what my point was. I think it was the fact that I have done so well not buying planner supply type things that I'm not going to stress myself out about buying some dot stickers for $5. I use them all the time. I use the various colors and I adore them, and I'm just going to spend the $5 when I need to spend the $5. So it's all good. It's all fine. When I think of the thousands and thousands of dollars I didn't spend this year, those $5 stickers were a freaking bargain. All right. I said I was done like 10 minutes ago, and then I went on the rant about the pen. So, you know, here we are again. And, you know, at least I know you love me. So I'm going to let you get back to your Saturday. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. I hope that you get things done, but also take the time to take care of yourself. Leave me a comment below, please, and let me know if Vlogmas is something that I should seriously consider, or if you think that you would just get sick of me if I tried to post every single day. It's fair. I'm a lot, okay? And I love that for me. I love anyone who is described as they're a lot. Hell yeah, that's my people. But, you know, I will say this about Vlogmas. I will not burn myself out for it. So if I start it and it's too much, I will stop. Like, I'm not going to... So don't worry about my well-being in your decision about whether or not you think Vlogmas would be fun, because if it is too much, I will back off. I am still 100% committed to not dragging my ass across the finish line of 2025. I'm going to walk across and I'm going to go into 2026 in the best headspace I've entered a year in forever. I'm determined. I'm not going to say that it's going to be my year, because every time I've ever said that, something horrible has happened. So we're not going to go there, but I'm going to go into it in a good headspace. I'm going to sit under my table on December 31st and eat grapes at midnight, and we're going to start 2026 with energy and not burnt out and flailing and trying to push through on day one. We're not going there. So let me know your thoughts on Vlogmas, because I think it would be really fun, but maybe people aren't even into it anymore. I have no idea. And please don't forget to like this video so that it pushes it out to other people who might enjoy my allotness. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.